Hello guys, welcome to the Train Parrot. Yesterday at 6 p.m. I put out this video calling for a potential low right after my expectation of having a breakdown from this ascending wedge. We did that and we confirmed it on Telegram at 10 p.m. yesterday. I did that right before going to sleep, so you were aware that it was quite likely that we were going to lose the support at 67.5. In this morning update 10 hours ago, I have covered the possibility that we end up building a bull flag. And if we protect that bull flag, it is quite likely that we can continue targeting the shorts, squeezing them out of their positions. But if we were to fail and break down from that bull flag, what are the levels that we need to protect for a possibly delayed next hit of the highs? Guys, if you like this type of content, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I put out one of these videos. Whatever you do, hit the like before watching the content. Let's get this video into 300 likes. That's really helping the channel to continue growing. At the moment on the monthly, things are looking quite well. As I mentioned this morning, I consider the pattern already broken out when we're looking at the monthly. You can see this candle in here of October is sitting right where we want it to be. And the buying pressure is quite big on the ETFs. We have had 4 days in a row. I'm waiting to see how much there is on the 17th today. That's still not confirmed, but we have had record inflows, to be honest. Guys, make sure that you visit my channel and go to the playlist section on my YouTube channel. Scrolling down, you're gonna find this playlist called Trading Tutorials. If you want to learn how I trade with the RSI or CPR or all the different indicators, make sure you pay a visit to that. At the moment, it's got 8 videos there, all for free. And if you have any suggestions, join my Telegram and find this post in here where I was asking for suggestions. So far, it's got 22 suggestions. Of course, the ones that are more mentioned are the ones I'm going to do first. Let's have a look at the 4-hour time frame, how things are really looking. After the breakdown that happened last night, we had 3 candles in a row in red with a big engulfing candle in green. Up until then, I was even thinking that this might be it. We were talking about forming a bull flag in there similar to this one for a potential continuation. The problem is that if we were to close this 4-hour candle as a red big engulfing candle right next to this big green candle, particularly if the size of this one is larger to the one next to it, then we can say that it's going to be quite difficult for the price to just start hitting the highs from then. But that is just a finger in the air assumption. What we need to really do to understand if we have any chance to break above the bull flag, for that we don't need to go any further than using also the 4-hour time frame RSI. As you can see, I have added this line in here from the very high connected to the next level in here, and you can see that this level there got rejected at 67, slightly below of the trend line. And for the price to start seeing any attempt to go to put a new high, in this case a new higher high, we need the RSI to break above this trend line, hold it, test it, and then we can have some sort of chances. But for as long as we are below that line, I'm gonna remove this one so you can see it clearly. For as long as we are below this line, things can continue just in a free falling knife. If we zoom out on the RSI 4-hour, we can see that we have been printing this low in here followed by this low. So one area of interest as a last resource in the 4-hour for a bounce will be somewhere around here. If we put a line in here, we can also create some sort of channel. That could be just a last line in the sand before things get completely spoiled. But don't get me wrong, there is a chance, thanks to all the bullishness of these days, that we don't make the whole journey into the bottom of the range. We could potentially bounce from the median and break out right from there, leaving lots of shorts disappointed with the poor performance of their positions. And the reason for that is that even in the scalping chart, we can see that if we are including all the way from 71 to 61, nothing comes closer to the liquidity that there currently is at 68.4. So we kind of have a big incentive for the price to go to there eventually when it decides to break out to the upside after confirming it above this this trend line. But until then, we need to start searching for potential areas below the price that could justify why are we in this downtrend in here. We're also going to look later in the swing version of this chart using the 4-hour time frame. This one is using just 5 minutes, so we have very fresh liquidity that doesn't include everything, but it shows it in much better detail. So let's ignore the top of the price so we can get a magnifier glass on what is at the moment below it. And one level that stands out is 64.7. And if we were to include slightly more, you can see that definitely that is the largest, unless we include the sub 60s. So there are two big candidates in here. This one in there at 64.8, followed by the liquidity at 62, and the sub 60s if things got really bearish. If things were very bullish at the moment, of course we can just bounce and start going higher. But a low hanging fruit in here that is very difficult to see, I recognize, so I'm gonna zoom in to there so you can see it, is this liquidity as well located at 65.9. That at the moment is roughly 1k below the price, so no big deal for this current trend to get there. At least at this pace, it will take just roughly 8 hours for the price to get there, as long as we continue in this downtrend. Let's have a look at the swing chart to see the big picture. And you can see that on the daily, we have a big red engulfing candle. I was pretty sure that the swing trading was with the 4-hour, but now I noticed that it's using the daily. And on the daily, we have a big red engulfing candle right after 3 green candles. On the swing trade, we were seeing some liquidity at 64.8. That is not visible in here, particularly because we are showing the top of the price. And on the big picture, all we can see is sub 60s. It's very difficult. One thing that has changed substantially is the immediate liquidity that we have above it. Since we already took 68.4, you can see it in here. Now it has become blue. So there is little incentive between where we are and 68.5. The party though continues right above that with 2 yellow levels and then going back into the red. So at the moment the price will have to move at least 1.7k up to reinitiate the short squeeze and continue on the way up. So I think what needs to happen, going back into the scalping chart, is that right after we start taking these lows and finding that, we need to start forming pretty intense liquidity right above the price action, particularly below 68.5. As you can see, the liquidity in here, since we already took it with this wick in there, we need to form new liquidity in there. And that new liquidity is going to pave the way for this to come back and make the journey into 68.5. And that only is going to happen if the greed from the shorts in this area goes big. They need to think, wow, we're going to break down and we are going to make the full journey of the falling wedge back into this order block at 62. If they buy that idea and they enter too aggressively from where we are, then this liquidity in here is gonna grow substantially. If that happens quickly enough before the price collapses down, then we have a very good case for this to remain just a bull flag, very short-lived with a very quick recovery to the upside. If those shorts don't get greedy enough, we might see as well the spot to continue to sell, weakening our chances of a quick continuation to the upside. As you can see, today they have changed their minds and they have sold when it comes to spot. When it comes to futures, yes, some of them have closed their positions, but many are still holding strong. And remember, we do not want just futures to be holding the position, because those are the ones that have positions very short-lived. Second, because they take profits a lot more than the people that trade spot. We do want conviction from spot at this point in time for a quickly recover. When it comes to fair value gaps below the price, we still have 66.7 followed by 65.9, and right after that we have a big chunk in here that ends at 63k. Above the price we just have these two levels left over and nothing else stands in the way to get us into an all-time high. The levels on the order books have diminished just slightly less than in the morning. We have 48 million followed by 76 million. Purple whales are currently buying and brown whales as well. That's pretty interesting to see. I remind you that we still have this hive signal on the 4-hour pointing towards 64.6. That level is in confluence with the first level of high liquidity pools that we were seeing in the scalping chart on trading different. And I think it's quite doable for the price to get there. The 4-hour hive signal is a lot more successful than the 1 hour. This is the 1 hour, and you can tell that this one kind of failed, this one succeeded, and the previous one that we have mid-October play out, but after a big drawdown as well. The way most people are seeing this is we have been rejected so many times at the same place, so this is pretty much going to be the same. And the shorts are just thinking, oh, this is just one of those opportunities that where we get into the top of the range and we just enjoy a quick and very profitable ride all the way to the bottom of the range. And when it comes to ask liquidity, levels of liquidations from longs, levels of open interest, they have a big case to drop the price all the way down. What we have as longs, the bulls at the moment in our favor, is the fact that the big whales continue to withdraw their coins from exchanges. That is extremely bullish. We have another buy signal from the hash ribbons that was confirmed yesterday. Retail is completely silent. Pretty much in the past year, nothing has come close. At the moment, we have a reading of 15 of interest. Very similar to what we have around October and September 4 years ago in the previous cycle, right before we ignite the last leg of the bull run. Seasonality is a thing as well. We are in October, and if you follow these arrows, you can see that 2 times we have an amazing October at this time in the cycle, and the only exception is 2012, which I will kind of ignore, and many people do as well, because it's early days in Bitcoin and there were many anomalies while Bitcoin was maturing. Guys, let me introduce you to my new partner, Bluffin. This exchange is extremely easy to set up. You only need 5 minutes and to use the link down in the description to get your account founded. You do not need KYC anywhere in the world to use this exchange. I already have 2 accounts. It took me just 5 minutes to get used to it. I managed to negotiate a 10,000 bonus and the lowest fees that you can get. Have a look at the links in the description. I also have all my collection of my favorite products on crypto. Whichever that you end up picking is definitely supporting the channel, guaranteeing that I put out 2 videos a day covering Bitcoin and continue putting out more tutorials about trading and indicators. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.